What's up, everyone? Welcome to Prop Drop. I'm your host, Sean Koerner, aka the Oddsmaker, and I'm taking a break from my Saturday projections process to drop a few official props for you guys that I found so far. So let's have some fun and dive into a few matchups here. But before I begin, just a reminder that if you want access to all of Action Pro's projections, make sure to sign up for our annual subscription that is currently on sale. Access includes exclusive player props from yours truly and other members of the Action Analytics team. You'll also get access to exclusive expert articles, our best spread, money line, and total bets, and real ticket and money percentages. To sign up, visit actionnetwork.com/pro today and use code PROPS20 at sign up. One more time, that's PROPS20 at sign up for $20 off. All right, let's dive into some props. So for my first prop, I'm going to the Chargers Raiders game. This prop is pretty much the same at every single book right now, so it doesn't matter where you're placing your action. But I'm going with Hayden Hurst of the Chargers under 21.5 receiving yards. This is actually a prop that's dropped 5 yards since I flagged it last night, but I still love it here, even at 21.5 receiving yards. This Chargers offense will look a lot different this year. I expect it to be much more run heavy under new offensive coordinator Greg Roman. I expect Josh Palmer to be the new number one target in this offense with Ladd McConkey not too far behind. Outside of those two guys, I have no idea how this is going to shake out in terms of targets. And the tight end room itself is much different this year with Gerald Everett now with the Chicago Bears. So it's really unclear how the snaps are going to divvy out between Will Dissly and Hayden Hurst, but I'm just guessing since the Chargers' new offensive approach will be more run heavy. This could favor Will Dissly, who's a much better blocker than Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst could end up being the number 3 target in this offense. He could be pretty much useless. We don't know, but I'm more willing to invest in his floor here in week 1. This prop does seem a bit high just based on the expected game plan. On the other side, the Raiders should be run heavy as well, so that could limit the overall play volume of the Chargers. So, I'm projecting him closer to around 16.5 yards. So I have his median being 5 yards lower than this, with about a 62% chance he stays under 21.5 yards here. When it comes to week 1, we're really just going off, camp reports, vibes, and things like that. We don't have much data to go off. And when it comes to Hayden Hurst, I'm just investing in his potential floor in this new offense. So that'll do it for the first prop. Let me make sure I'm logging that in before it moves. All right, there we go. And so next up for my second prop, this is something that I actually attacked quite a bit last year, and we're going to the Giants-Vikings matchup. This is a longest receptions prop. It's widely available. Any book that offers this number is going to be the same exact number as we speak. But many of you know where I'm going with this, and it's Wan'dale Robinson of the Giants for his longest reception to be under 14.5 yards. You can get it at -120. But like I mentioned, this is a prop I attacked a handful of times last year. I think I won every single time. But he's a receiver that had a very low average depth of target last year, 5.2 yards to be exact, which was the third lowest among qualified wide receivers last year. So, he's a wide receiver that could get quite a few targets in this game, but they're not going to be downfield as much, which is going to be tougher for him to clear this number. He has to do a lot of it after the catch. And this matchup specifically also favors this under because, the Vikings scheme under defensive coordinator Brian Flores, they do tend to give up a lot of receptions underneath. They kind of concede, high percentage throws underneath, but, they're very good at limiting the yards after the catch after that. So, I think Robinson could end up getting a handful of catches here, but they're going to do a good job of limiting and making sure he doesn't get 15 plus yards on his, underneath targets. Last year, they ranked 8th lowest in terms of yards after the catch allowed on targets that were fewer than 10 yards downfield. So this sets up well for, my going back to the well here with Wan'dale Robinson under 14.5. receiving yards for his longest catch. This is a prop. I have his median closer to 12.5 with about a 60% chance he'll stay under 14.5 yards for his longest catch. And I got one more prop for you guys. I gave out a couple disgusting unders. Sorry about that. I have a way more exciting prop here. This is an over on a very exciting player. As you can tell with my hat, I'm going to the Denver Broncos Seattle Seahawks matchup. And I'm going with a running back prop here, although I'm taking his over on rushing and receiving yards here. And it's Jaleel McLaughlin, over 39.5 rushing and receiving yards. I think this is a great way to invest in McLaughlin's upside here in both, the running game and the passing game. Heading into the season, the Broncos backfield does kind of remind me of the Steelers backfield heading in the season, where I view Javonte Williams as, the lead back, the Najee Harris of this offense. Well, I consider Jaleel McLaughlin like the Jaylen Warren in this offense. He's a guy that's not going to get a ton of touches, but when he does touch the ball, he's going to make the most of it. Very efficient, very explosive player. So I'm expecting him to get 6 to 8 rush attempts here against the Seahawks. And it does set up well for him because the Seahawks defense, last year they were very vulnerable against, the run game. They had the highest rushing yards over expected allowed per attempt in the league. They also allowed the second highest yards after contact per run. And that's important when it comes to McLaughlin because he was excellent after the contact. He averaged 3.5 yards a rush after contact, which would have ranked 5th among qualified running backs. Now, I know that this Seattle defense should be much better under new, head coach Mike Macdonald coming over from the Ravens. So I don't put too much stock in these last season stats, but I still think this is a great matchup for McLaughlin. Plus, his passing game usage should go up this year following the release of Samaje Perine, who's now with Kansas City. So, I think he's going to see a lot more work in the passing game as well. And Russell Wilson was a check down machine last year. There's no denying that. But I still think Bo Nix will target his running backs fairly heavily as well. So, even if he gets some limited playing time in the passing game, he should be getting targets from someone like Bo Nix. And I love the idea of investing in both, the rushing and receiving yardage output because it kind of makes it game script, not as game script dependent. They could be trailing or leading. And I think we'll get at least 1 or 2 explosive plays from either the ground or the air. So I'm projecting this closer to 46.5 rushing and receiving yards from McLaughlin. So about a 60% chance to clear this. But again, I just love his upside. So I think, he'd clear this with a single run or a single catch, kind of what we saw with Jaden Reed last night. So I love the versatility of taking the over in this market for McLaughlin. All right, that's going to do it for the first edition of Prop Drop. Thanks for joining me. Going to get back to, updating my projections. Going to have a few more props throughout the day. So be sure to follow me in the Action app. You can follow me at _oddsmaker. And I'll be having, a few more props today, tomorrow, Monday night. So be sure you're following me there. Best of luck with all of your week 1 bets. We will see you again right here next week.